Hello, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another CSGO News episode. I hope you guys all enjoy, but if you want to know one thing, this actual episode with all this kind of news stuff was actually uploaded nearly 24 hours earlier on the Esports News channel, which will be down below. I want you guys to keep on knowing, I'm going to keep on annoyingly reminding you that this video, these CSGO News videos will not be on here forever. So just so you guys know, Esports News channel, we're doing great things over there, high quality stuff. We're going to try and rework logos and stuff in the future, but I hope you guys all enjoy. Of course, you are here for CSGO News. Let's break it down, guys. The first thing that has happened, the thing we've been waiting for forever, it seems like. You know, it seems like almost 4 to 5 months we've waited on this, thanks to Nell, guys, who leaked all this so long ahead of time. It's official now that Team Vitality has officially, for the first time, entered the CSGO scene with a brand new roster, that being the Water Boys. Of course, you guys know them, MBK and Apex, apparently being bought out from G2. We have Happy, we have RPK, we have the young up-and-comer ZywOo, who will be their primary operator going forward. I cannot wait to see what this team does. If you guys have been a fan of the channel or a viewer of the channel for quite some time, I've said they can surpass those results so far, accomplishment so far by the current G2 roster. I have no doubts in that. As of right now, this current Vitality roster going forward, it's going to be weird saying this is the team name Vitality. They are currently in the GG Bet Shuffle, or that's the last tournament for that last spot in IEM Chicago, and I think this team has so much to prove. If you guys watched the Esports News episode, I really do apologize because I reiterate a lot of the same points on there as I do on here, but these guys have so much to prove in the future of CSGO to actually, because when it comes to buyouts and when it comes to salaries, this is definitely one of the most expensive rosters currently in CSGO, especially if they did buy out MBK and Apex, which we assume they did. When you think about the sheer amount of results these guys have to come for, and again, IEM Chicago would be a great start if they managed to qualify for that. As of right now, their group play, I think 3D Max, Team Spirit, there was another team in there. Their group, they went undefeated in, they went 3-0, but their group was not the best group ever. So we have so much to see from these guys in terms of potential, and they have to play, of course, the top teams in the world. And again, you can probably give the preliminary 2 to 3 months, 3 to 4 months before this team really fully clicks, and by that time around, it's going to be the European minor for the next major. Will they qualify for the next major? That is a huge thing for this team to recoup some of that payment and actually, of course, make their standpoint, make their first notch in CSGO. Do you guys think it's going to be worth it? I really do hope so. In terms of G2, we'll talk about them in a minute here, but very lastly as well, bouncing off Vitality, again, not only do they have so much to prove, but it comes to being one of the bigger buyouts we've seen ever since the addition of FaZe Clan. You know, they got Olaf Meister, they got Guardian, they got Nico. It seems like to be a pretty big buyout here, and I cannot wait to see if it's actually worth it. Will they be the next best French team? I really do think they're going to be the #1 French team given the right amount of time, and if ZywOo lives up potential, because we have yet to see him play against the top of the top talent. He's officially left AAA, of course, to join this Vitality roster, and this is going to be a big scale up. Again, I think MBK put it best. I believe it was his tweet who said he's happy to, or maybe it was Happy who said he's excited to see what ZywOo can grow into, and take that very literally, guys. He needs to grow into this role, and I cannot wait to see the potential this team does have, and if they can actually live up to that potential as well. Now, also bouncing off that, like I said before, talking about G2, they've been very confusing these past few months. Well, of course, we've had Ocelote, their owner, tweet out a bunch of different things, disappointment, future changes. He then, those changes were just adding a coach, former envious coach Malik to the roster, and who knows what's going to happen. Of course, his latest post, he was telling people, and again, you have to understand that G2, Ocelote, that is, he's the CEO of the entire organization, so all these tweets, they might not be CSGO based, but that's how I take them because I just love CSGO and I hope they're towards CSGO. So when he tweets out like, yo, you guys want some dope news, and he responds to that tweet and says he has to wait for approval from POTUS. POTUS, if you Google it, blah, 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 it means President of the United States, so who knows if the guys are having visa issues. I'm not really sure that's what it would be. If they're making some sort of North American move, if they're going to try and acquire some North American player in the very future, if KennyS is not going to be re-signed. Also, thanks to Nell, guys, I'll try and link some articles down below, but you guys know Nell by now, a great French leaker. The entire G2 roster has re-signed to G2 until the end of 2020. If you guys read into that, it's with lower salaries, but it's a guarantee for over a year to be on that team, so probably, you know, a little bit of balance, right? They take a lower salary, they have a team for the next year. Of course, a lot of those guys are willing to take that. You probably know who I'm talking about. Every player did re-sign besides KennyS, which of course, it makes you think, where could he go? Obviously, he has plenty of offers out there that are on the table if need be. He'll be there until February, though, which does mean KennyS should, for Katowice 2019, play with G2. It will likely be his last major there if they don't do well. If they do well, maybe he'll re-sign. That would, of course, be probably the biggest plan for that roster. So huge question marks going forward for these guys in the French scene. Who's the best French team out there? Tell me in the comments down below, and do not say LDLC White. Please. Hey, what's up, everybody? Of course, I'm cutting in because I do have a sponsor for this. That's CS Money, as usual. A great place to sell, buy, trade your skins. If you guys want to use my link down below, as always, huge shouts to them for actually sponsoring me. Although I don't know why they do. And again, thank you guys for all the great support. Let's get on with the video, though. Let's continue with this stuff. It's gonna get good. Stay till the end. I'm gonna say some things I regret. And in funny news, my boys at Rogue. If you guys have been following recent announcements, of course, our newest IGL will be Crystal to replace Katie, and of course, we enter ESL Pro League, ECS. We have StarSeries Season 6. So many tournaments, events going on with some big upsets as well. If you guys have been watching, I'm getting off topic here. We'll go back to Rogue very quickly. It was actually Elise who tweeted out this, saying that apparently a team they were playing against was secretly taking player VODs, their player point of views on top player POVs, that they're recording the demos themselves to, of course, learn their strategies, so on and so forth, without getting their permission. And of course, Don Hossie, other people wanted to know exactly who was doing this, and he added Rogue Gaming. And I live up to my tweet, guys. You know, whatever it takes. I appreciate, I'm so biased here. This is so wrong on so many levels, but I love Rogue. And so whatever it takes to get better and not have to pay for it, and yeah, that embarrassing, but again, that shows dedication, right? I don't know how to take this news, but I guess it's great that they're called out for this. Now other teams out there know that other teams can take your VODs, they can take your POVs without you knowing. So don't do that in the future, guys. And like I said previously, ESL Pro League well underway. The North American side just starting, European side more well underway. We also have ECS matches. It's gonna be a crazy few months here of CSGO before our next premier tournaments out there. IEM Chicago obviously coming up, and then teams are already, it's kind of crazy to think about. Teams are already gonna start finalizing their rosters and preparing, kind of solidifying that for the major Katowice 2019, which should be early in 2019, I do believe and hope for. That format is yet to be chosen. But speaking of formats out there, StarSeries Season 6 is also underway. And we have 3 of our major legendary teams, Complexity, HR, and Big. They all sit 0-2 at the end of today. At the point of you guys watching this, one of them might be eliminated, which is obviously crazy to see. There were 3 of your legendary teams, probably 3 of your more expected teams going into this, and that just shows you the continuous flaws, because this format is the same as the major, and that is a Swiss best of ones, which means, of course, you play teams of your same record, and you do best of 1 matchups, which is obviously now defined itself as the worst format in CSGO history, and I think people are kind of sick of seeing it. There's definitely 2 sides to it still. You know, you love to see upsets. You love to see teams like ENCE and teams like Fragsters 2-0 right now, because best of 1s allow for those upsets. I think it's fine for premier tournaments like this. Obviously for the major, a different story, but even then, when you have teams like, such big teams with big followings like this, and Complexity and Big coming off somewhat of a hype, more so Complexity because Big didn't do too well at the major, it does kind of suck to see a team fall so flat so fast because of a formatting system. And very lastly in CSGO news, before I touch on one scam story, you guys probably know about Skinhub. We'll touch on that in a second here. Also, very lastly, we have a Dren taking to Twitter because apparently the current CSGO client, I thought this was actually fixed during the major. It must not be. Thanks to a Dren, though, apparently footsteps are still deleted in CSGO. If you guys remember, speaking of Rogue earlier, they actually had a huge issue at the major, or at least we think they were one of many teams who had issues at the major where they couldn't hear enemy footsteps. There were so many clips out there. I know it was Rogue versus North, Rogue versus Astralis. There were probably other teams out there who suffered from this, where there were obvious times where enemies jumped through smoke, they landed next to a player, and they didn't turn. They didn't hear a thing because they couldn't hear the footsteps. They didn't turn at all. So this is obviously apparently still an issue there, according to Dren, and him being the advice god, the teaching CSGO god he is, I take his word of advice and I take it as it is, and I'm sure it's probably still an issue out there which does need to be fixed. Now, also bouncing off that, very lastly, the Skinhub story. If you guys do not know about this, well, I'm going to try and give you a TLDR. I'm going to try and work on a video. Obviously, I have a full-time job for the esports news channel, so I'm so busy, but this needs to be touched on. And obviously, take my words with a grain of salt. I am not the perfect CSGO role model. I hope a lot of you guys are watching. You maybe think that I have some advice that you can maybe take from me, but obviously what I've done in the past, I've done some things that I would love to take back, but it's been so long since those things have been done, so I hope you guys can take my advice and not think of me as a hypocrite, but if you guys do, then feel free to. I really don't care too much. Gambling is bad. I have not taken gambling sponsors in a long time. I'm questionable if I will in the future. It seems to be going towards the VGO side. I haven't really touched it ever since then, but I have in the past to sustain a living. So if you guys want to hate on me for that, feel free to. But there are people out there who have continued to take gambling sponsorships, which they know they shouldn't have, for the past several months, that have been warned about the websites they've been working with for several months on top of that, and they've been told the owners they've been working with are also very, very corrupt, and they have not listened. They've made the videos anyway, and they've led an audience towards websites they shouldn't have led them to. That's a point I want to make. I'm not calling out anyone. If you guys know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. I don't need to mention names, but what people have done out there, myself included, I've done I've done bad things on YouTube. Call me out for it. People have for the past 3.5 years. But there are people who actively do bad things of equivalent badity, if that's even a word, and they keep doing it, and the audience keeps watching, and they keep feeding it, and I'm honestly sick of seeing it. If you guys know what I'm talking about, we have Skinhub, we have, on top of that, CSGO Wild. Luckily, they've been shut down. We have Kickback, all affiliated with the same owner. His name is Vlad. I'm not going to make any allegations right now. I'm going to try and work on a video. I have a full-time job. I can't dedicate the time required to call anyone out right now because I'm working on other things. Look for Bean. Look for Sparkles to make the video instead. I will try and make a video maybe sometime this week if I have the time to. But I just want to say, don't be affiliated with gambling websites unless you're ready to lose your money, because it seems that a majority of them are corrupt in some way, some shape, some form. And it's just kind of tiring to see some people get away with things that they have been getting away with for so long just because of their personality is so great that it overwhelms everything else that's bad they've done. Again, I'm not trying to direct it towards anyone, but maybe I am. I don't know. I'm frustrated, and I think I have the right to be. So you guys do what you want. I'm going to try and make a video on it. As always, though, thank you for watching. Seriously, don't spread hate to anyone because of what I said. Again, take my words with a grain of salt. I've done bad things myself, so it's just there's a certain point where you can only forgive so much. You can only blame not stupidity, but you can only blame them not knowing for so long. I mean, after a certain point when you do this again and again and again and again, you have to know that you have to know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm going to go, guys. Thank you for watching. Seriously, for all of you guys who support me on this channel as well as esports news, I love what I do, and thank you guys so much for the great support. As always, my name is Jake. I'll see y'all next time. I don't mean to get mad. Okay, bye.